Hey, welcome to my channel. This is Deanna with Divine Destiny. I am coming today on January 1st, 2020 with some inspiration. This is a passion of mine to start this channel. I do believe I started it in 2019. And I am learning astrology because in my spiritual awakening, I realized the significance of it for all of us. And so a message that keeps coming through for me to share with everybody is be open to learn. Don't ever lose the passion or the drive to learn new things and open yourself up to larger perspectives, different perspectives. And so going forward into 2020, that was a major passion. Came to me last night to share with all you sensitives, you empaths, anybody tuning in to listen. My spiritual awakening was triggered by my empath son leaving his body, but in amongst that, because of my openness and my willingness to see different perspectives, I've realized, thankfully, that love never dies. I've had many different people throughout the country, the world, deliver messages for me. And one of the significant things that I have to share on my channel today is that every thought, every word is heard. And so there's a huge importance for us to ask for help from our ancestors, from our loved ones, from God, from the angels, from the ascended masters. We have an entourage of support that is available to all of us, but they will not interrupt with our free will. So make sure, it's a power of asking you shall receive that is so significant. And so I just wanted to share that with you all today. On my journey over the past 5 years, which I was always drawn to astrology, and I was always really huge on playing euchre in my youth, and realizing today that the playing cards that everybody uses were derived from the tarot deck. And back of oppression, suppression, they've, tried to disconnect all of us powerful beings from the significance of that. So on my journey, I've learned to intuitively integrate oracle, and a passion of mine is astrology. So come in, enjoy. If this channel leaves you uplifted today, like, subscribe. Once I hit a certain number in my subscriptions on YouTube channel, I'll start doing lives, sharing cards, doing whatever inspires us for the day. I have many different categories in playlist on my channel, so go ahead and check those playlists out to see what resonates with you. A lot of healing tools there, a lot of empowerment. And one thing I've done with the astrology aspect is really started just integrating it into my everyday life because it's so super significant. I've always liked it, always been drawn to it. In fact, before my spiritual awakening, I had stars tattooed on me, but my spiritual awakening that happened in 2014 really threw me into this passion of mine. And come to find out, my birth natal chart shared that I was actually an astrologer in a past life. So I'm just playing with it, having fun with it this lifetime. I've integrated, I've gotten a little book to inspire all of us. So join on me with this journey, and I'm going to read these at least once a week because they are based on 5 days. So January 1st, leaving 2019 in a new decade. How exciting. I'm very optimistic. I encourage you to step into your authenticity and really just be open to receive the guidance that we all have available to us. So I'm going to read this for January 1st through the 5th. Welcome to the world where everything under the sun is seen as a cosmic reflection, is subject to cause and effect, and nothing happens half-heartedly. The new year begins on Wednesday, January 1st, with 5 planets, including the Sun, in the practical Capricorn and sensitive Pisces moon. January's namesake is Janus. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it right. It's ancient, so I'm not sure. the two-headed Roman god with the gift of looking backwards and forward at the same time. Every year, Janus reminds us to remember the lessons of the past year so we don't make the same mistake again. The first week of 2020 starts off with two of the happiest energies of the zodiac. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, and Sagittarius pairing with Mercury and Mars to stir up a surplus of positive energy. Sagittarius is fire. Could be passion. The Mercury-Jupiter conjunction on Thursday, January 2nd, brightens and expands communications and thought process for the next few days. When Mars moves into adventurous Sagittarius on Friday, January 3rd, it provides a blanket of confidence and courage that you can use to get what you want. The only downside to so much Jupiter and Sagittarius energy is that both the planet and the sign have a hard time doing anything in moderation. Both Jupiter and Sagittarius take the view that too much is never enough. If, over the next 6 weeks, you suddenly decide to sign up for a trip or enter a marathon when you just start jogging, or enroll in 7 new online courses at the same time, keep in mind this week that the other side of too much is learning when to use your brakes. So that's pretty cool. Jupiter's a very expansive planet. Sagittarius is fire, so if you get too much fire going forward, it's indulging, or doing things too fast and not thinking about that. So just remember that. Allow your passions this week to fuel you forward into 2020. I think it's very symbolic to say that January was named after this god. Roman, where does it say it again? Here we go. Namesake. It's a two-headed Roman god. One looking back, one looking forward. So if you're feeling today like you've reflected on 2019, it's a huge important time to let that go. And forward thinking. I just shared this with my last YouTube on rolling your shoulders back, being firmly rooted in who you are, and going through into 2020 with this huge optimism of knowing who you are, really stepping into your authenticity with that. Pause 1 second. Hold with me, guys. Are you coming in? So if you're new today, this is the No Edit channel. I live in my home. That's the beautiful thing about technology, is that we can reach people across the globe. And that's another thing that I feel is a huge thing going forward, is a lot of us connecting and realizing that at our core fundamental wants, desires, passions is that we all be rising in consciousness together, and that really, although we have many differences, wholeheartedly at the end of the day, love and compassion and peace is really what we all want. A planet, asteroid, I call it a planet, Chiron, has assisted many of us wounded healers through 2019. I've been reading online different things, and there's a little bit different perspectives on times and all of this, that, and the other with many different things in astrology. I gotta stop and pause right now before I forget and thank every single astrologer that I've found on my journey that I am learning and integrating this from. And it started with me by getting my birth natal chart and really just starting to research and do my own learning by utilizing other people. I think we can learn from everybody. And that's probably why the message came up to me last night to share with everybody, including myself, is never say you're too old. Never expire yourself from learning, because that is keeping a wonder of being childlike, going, I'm open to learn and not being closed-minded and stiff-necked and judgmental, because you'll close yourself off from the limitless magical power that we are through the heart space, the most powerful energy. So this is a pep talk today on January 1st of 2020 from me to you. I hope anything that I share here resonates with you. If it doesn't, just leave that. But the Chiron in Aries to me has been huge through 2019. Different dates that I gathered from the internet are a day or two apart, but it went back into Aries on February 17th of 2019. It'll remain there for 7 years up until about June of 2026, which then it'll enter Taurus. And those born from 1976 to 1984 will experience their Chiron returns. For me, this was huge, rising into my wholeness of a wounded healer, and the reality that us light workers used to be in this phase of overextending ourselves to people who didn't want to help themselves. And so that was a huge transformation for me in 2019, because there's an importance of this. We are here to help each other, but if the person or the group or whoever you're wanting to help see the expansion and the perspective and the transformation that you know is available to them, and they don't want it, then you're depleting yourself. Because if people resist healing, Chiron and Aries specifically, because Aries is the first sign of zodiac, so self, and the wounded healer in all of us, whether you're just starting on your journey or not, or if you've been on it, just think about that. Do you overextend yourself to people who resist, who are too concerned about their triggers to take the encouragement that you're sharing with them, because you know within them they can rise past victim mode and step into their authenticity? It's super important going forward, because gaining our spiritual muscles through all the transformative time, now that we're in 2020, it's just time to embody that. And so I think that was the huge, I sat down last night and was writing out the things and the lessons that I'm thankful for throughout 2019, even the last decade, right? To even the hard things being thankful for, because they taught me more and more to be authentic in myself, to not overextend my energy, because that'll leave an empath depleted of their own life force energy, and that's not what we want going forward. We're wanting the wounded healers to rise, to know that they can't save everybody, and that we are here to help and assist other people who might be just starting out on this, but that we can't do anything unless the other party or person is ready and open to receive that. If they resist it by not trusting, not willing to be vulnerable, transparent, or that they're turning from their fears and shooting the messenger of saying that you trigger them, or whatever it may be, use it for an example. This is symbolic for anybody that tunes in to listen. I'm sitting here playing with a whole handful of my crystals. Oh well, I didn't even realize I was doing it. So I think that was the most beautiful lesson for me in 2019, and I wrote these out on my Facebook page, and I would like to offer to you now that I do have a tribe on Facebook that is Divine Destiny and the Rise of Empaths. Right now as we speak, it's closed. I'm thinking I'm going to open that, but if you're interested in joining that, where you're really open and eager to learn, I share so many different things there, and so do the members. I got quite the beautiful tribe that's co-creating this empath group, and it was all inspired by when my empath son transitioned, and realizing that his sensitivities, his heart and his mind couldn't make sense of the injustices that he was seeing with his two eyes. And so it inspired me to not only start this channel, it also inspired my spiritual awakening that I did not resist. I was open like a chalice, and I was not judgmental. I lost more and more of the judgment that I held within myself, and therefore in turn with other people. And it really taught me so many things that I can't even express to the degree. And I'm so very thankful. So I come to you today in gratitude for that. And it's not always easy to carry the crosses of this world. And I guess my reminder to you all today and myself is to not be of the world and really go by your own internal compass, because all of the restrictive energy of the Pisces age was judging, witches being burned at the stake for holistic healing, which never makes sense. And what took over was corporations and religions and the division and the fear tactics. And we're all one. So being open to that, I'm so super thankful for my willingness to face every fear, to face every trigger. And although I'm as mad as a hornet when some people, one particular sister of mine that's actually blood relative, triggered me, but I reflected upon that, and I later called her and said, you pissed me off at first, but thank you, because now I see why. And so she knows that. If she tunes in to listen today, thank you so much for that. I didn't shoot the messenger. I didn't shame the messenger. I reflected on it, and although my ego was pissed off at first initially, I literally reached out and made the crooked straight. And she didn't even know I was triggered to the point where I was pissy about it. And that's the part of authenticity. She didn't know it. I had an energy about it. And so to clear that energy, even though she knew nothing, that was my deed of thanking her. And it's just a beautiful aha moment. I've had many of them over the past 5 years. 2020, looking forward, I'm very optimistic, and that's not to say that all of us aren't going to have trials and tribulations, because we will. But when you gain that spiritual perspective and your openness to not be judgmental and to release everybody else's programs, it's super beautiful, and it is so transformative. And 2019 was a huge coming out of the cocoon personally for me. So whether you're just starting on this journey or not, this is the story that I wanted to share today, the inspiration I wanted to share today on this huge transformative time. There's so much going on that I'll be sharing later. My next video is going to be touching on the moon phase of the lunar cycle coming up on the 10th. The full moon in Cancer. That's very representative. Water sign of the feminine, the goddess energy. Love, nurturing, compassion. But it's also an eclipse. And so these eclipses are powerful. We just had the one in Capricorn, Sun. That one was a solar. To me, very representative of masculine, and the sun being our life force energy, our soul. Solar plexus, right? Sun, S-U-N, sun, S-O-N, very symbolic. And then the lunar one being in the feminine of Cancer, the family, the compassion, the nurturing, and that divine feminine, just very, very strong. So I'm going to sum this up today. I encourage you to ask. You have such divine support, whether it be your ancestors, our galactic family, God, all things created are God. So that collective consciousness, your higher self, really just ask, because there's truly a power in that. So, I'm going to share an Angels and Ancestors Oracle. If you're new today, thank you so much for being here. If you're a returning listener, thank you so much. Without you, this wouldn't even be happening. I trust So much so that this reaches whoever it needs to reach. Timeless message, no matter when you come in to listen. So just remember that. Take it all with love. Be open and receptive like the feminine is. And just take this into your heart space. God, Creator, Source, Great Spirit, I am here, I am ready, and I'm open to receive your guidance. Make this be clear. Allow my communication to be thorough. And I ask this in advance, and I give thanks in advance. Stargazer, set your sights higher. Well, like I shared in this, Jupiter in Sagittarius, that's very symbolic of the archer, Artemis, shooting higher, bigger perspectives. Oh my God, this card's beautiful. Set your sights high, you guys. We are so powerful if you step into that heart space. Look at how beautiful this card is. Holding that telescope with all of the astrological glyphs on it. Cloaked in beautifulness and magical. Look at all the stardust. Realize that as above, so below. Allow that Jupiter expansion to drive your passions, being open to learn. You know, that coming through to me last night was huge, and I'm like, I'm sharing it with everybody, because for me, on my journey of the past 5 years, even though I've always been drawn to astrology, no coincidence, we are of the stars. God created everything. Great Spirit, whatever you call it, doesn't matter to me. I'm not triggered by the word God anymore, so I use it like crazy. And as my son in spirit has told a beautiful spiritual medium that I've went to, that my mom's a prayer warrior, and it's like, you darn right, I talk to Creator of the universe just like I talk to you. So keep shooting yourself higher. You're worthy of good things. You're worthy of expansion, and allow that to fuel your passions. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. That's a great reminder from our angels and ancestors, you guys. And it's no coincidence, you know, Jupiter in Sagittarius. Maybe go one more with the moonology, I believe. I always say one more. The divine, feminine, receptive energy of the moon, which is in Pisces today, will be moving into Aries. So symbolic. What is it from the moonology? A reminder for us to be receptive to new learning, new thoughts, new ways of thinking. Mercury, lineup of planets in Capricorn. So symbolic right now. Luck is on your side. New moon in Sagittarius. This is why I love these, and never seems to amaze. It just keeps awing me. So again, Jupiter in Sagittarius. What a beautiful, beautiful message today on this beautiful start of a new decade. Stargazer, look to the heavens, shoot higher for yourself. Luck is on your side when you expand and allow that expansion within you. Again, Jupiter in Sagittarius, we got the new moon in Sagittarius, so a new way of thinking about what I've shared in this message today. You do this. You do this. You keep setting your sights higher to the bigger perspective, to the oneness consciousness, to the stars, to the ethers, to the cosmos. It is all right here within us. Love it. And luck will turn around for you. We're co-creators, guys. Time for everybody to let go of the limited thinking, the duality. Pay a special attention to that in 2020, because it's a 2020. 2 can represent duality, which we will have unfold. It's a fact in Capricorn. All these planets, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter expansion, but Saturn, Pluto specifically, breaking down the old structures with it being in Capricorn. That is right there within you too. So don't buy into the dramas that will unfold. as we're restructuring and revamping our core fundamental roots, getting back to the bare bones of, like, it's Capricorn season in the northern hemisphere right now. The trees are all in this quiet, dormant stage. A lot of them that do lose their leaves. I just visualize it drawing us down into the roots of the tree right now. And that's where all the life starts. So think of that symbolically within you. Super beautiful. And then as the seasons change, as we do, the blossoms will come. Allow this Jupiter expansion to expand you and get out of the Mercury ruled mind, you know, like thinking, just so to speak. If you're a Gemini or Virgo like myself, that mind used to rule me, and it had caused me so much anxiety. And the more that I opened up, I got broken down, beaten down by my Saturn return, by life unfolding, and it took me out of victim mode into co-creating. And that's available to every single one of us as divine children of God, co-creators. So keep shooting higher. And when you do that, a new way, allowing this expansion of Jupiter in the fiery sign of Sagittarius, every one of us has this in their chart somewhere, as above, so below. You turn your luck around. You start co-creating, you start manifesting. You're not victim of life. None of us are. Hope this inspired you today. Please do, if you listen to this. I am sharing it on Facebook, but I would really prefer everybody come in and YouTube and listen to it, because it helps the algorithms and gets my channel out there, and I'm ready to expand in that. That's a thing I've already visualized within myself. Once I hit so many subscribers, which I'm not sharing here on YouTube, I'll start doing more lives with cards, inspiration, whatever we do, sharing love with each other, spreading our fairy dust around the world. And I send this to you guys with so much love today. Co-create the 2020 you want going forward. Release the past like this two-headed deal, and namaste.